Hopefully this thing won't come off. I think I got it in there pretty good. Yeah, what happened? I don't know. This book came...
Yo, Darius Peter, and today we're talking about some books. Yeah, we gotta talk about that reading action. I've been getting a lot of questions. Yo, D4, you got any book recommendations? To that, I reply, I got 6 of them. So let's get into it. The first book is Master Shots. If you're into cinematography, you need to have this book. If you want to direct, you need to have this book. This is a how-to manual for moving the camera. It doesn't matter what your budget is. We've got plenty of examples from feature films, but every shot in the book can be done on the cheap. Each lesson is a simple 2-page layout, super easy read with lots of pictures. If you're planning out shots for your first short film or feature film, having a book like this is really, really helpful because it's like 200-something pages full of explanations of like well-executed shots and motivated camera moves. And again, you can read each example in like 5 minutes. It doesn't get any better than that. Next, we got Directing Actors by Judith Weston. This is by far one of my favorite books on directing. If you're one of those peeps that has trouble working with actors, you know when you tell your actors what you're looking for and they nod their head, yeah, and then you start rolling cameras and they do nothing like what you were looking for. If this happens to you, you need to read up. She covers everything about working with actors, how to do rehearsals, troubleshooting poor performances, the fundamentals of good performance. I've learned so much from this book, it's ridiculous. As you can see, I've got highlights all over the place. If you're only gonna read one book about working with actors, it should be this one. Next, we got Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. Again, this is another one of those books, super easy read. And it also explains story structure in such an easily understandable way. This was one of the books that really opened my eyes to the blueprint of screenwriting, and I've also read it many times. Here's the thing, this book gets a lot of flack for presenting a formula for storytelling, and I agree, it does. However, the formula makes a lot of sense, and it's very useful, and he gives you plenty of examples, and it helped me write my first feature. Now, can you apply it to every movie? Of course not, but that's not the point. Shout out. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Indie Pro. These guys specialize in providing professional power solutions for indie filmmakers. They also sell adapters so you can use their batteries for the gear you already have. They sent me a sample of their V-Mount Pro Series 98 battery. I've used it on a few sets. I'm very happy with it. Professional batteries like these make life a whole lot easier when you're mobile, and they just last for hours on a single charge. Many of you out there may not be on that level yet, but for those of you who are, Indie Pro Tools offer some really cool power solutions. Actually, I think I'm using one right now. I could plug it into a wall with an extension cord or something, but I'll just throw a battery in there. I'm gonna keep using it. I'll give you guys updates later on down the road on how the battery performs. Links in the description section. And then we got Story by Robert Mckee. If you want to write or direct movies, this is essential. This book will give you a deeper understanding of the story process. This book does not present a simple formula for stories. Rather, it entertains several different designs for stories. Robert Mckee is considered one of the world's premier screenwriting teachers. So there's also that. Both of these books are essential. This one's gonna give you a detailed explanation of a very popular formula that you can apply to about 80% of movies. And this one explains story without using a formula. So if you really wanna know your stuff, you should read both. Next up, In the Blink of an Eye by Walter Murch. Now, if you don't know this guy, you should. He's worked with a lot of top dudes. He's basically an editing genius, and he wrote this book, and it's dope. This book gives you an inside peek of what it's like to be an editor, like really insightful observations, hard-hitting advice. Oh boy. Very interesting theories on eye blinking as an emotional cue for the cut. I'm trying to record a video. If you're only gonna read one book on editing, it should definitely be this one. Last but not least, we got 101 Things I Learned in Film School. Believe it or not, this little guy is one of the best books I've read on filmmaking. Sometimes you don't feel like doing all that reading. Sometimes you want something short and sweet. Each lesson is a simple 2-page layout. It's another one of those books where you can read a lesson in 3 minutes. This book is really for anyone interested in filmmaking, writers, directors, producers. There's something in it for everybody. It's 202 pages full of little like bite-sized tips and advice, and every once in a while I always find myself coming back to this book just to like brush up on stuff. Well, that's all that I got for you. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like, subscribe. I will leave a link in the description section to the books that I mentioned, plus a few more.
They would make a total of 6 stops on this traverse, collecting samples from large rocks,